Paul Barnhurst, the FP&A guy here. Today I'm going to share with you a new feature in Excel that I'm super excited for. It's the navigation pane. This is something we've been waiting for a long time, and it's now out. If you're on a monthly update, you should have it. If you're on a semi-annual, you may need to wait a few more months before you get it. But if you're on Office 365, you want to look for it. So, many of us have always struggled to work our way through a workbook, right? You can come down here and click on a sheet, but hey, if I want to go to the last sheet, you could come over, drag over, and click on it. Or you could right-click here and select a sheet and say that, and it takes you to the sheet. Well, another thing many of us would do is we'd build a table of contents, which I would still encourage if you're adding a description. If you're not adding a description to each sheet, you can do away with the table of contents with this new feature I'm going to show you in a minute here. But right with the table of contents, I could click on graph. I could put a link here to take me back if I wanted to my table of contents, which is what I normally do is I'll click here and then each sheet I'd go back. So now what I'm going to show you is the new feature that basically works much like a table of contents in Excel. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to View. I'm going to click Navigation. And you'll notice what came up is a navigation pane that has every single one of my sheets. So you'll see if I go to the beginning, cover sheet, that's my first sheet. If I go to the end here, you'll notice, let's see, I have customer support. If I come down here to the end, I'm going to close these. You'll notice I have customer support. So it gives me every single sheet. It gives me an ability to search within the individual sheets. And then what it also shows is what's on each sheet. So let's walk through what it will show us. Let's start by walking through the cover sheet, and we'll see what's there. So if I unhide the cover sheet, we'll see it shows 4 elements. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. So it shows cover sheet A13. If I click there, it takes me to what's there. It takes me to A15, A17. The reason each of these are their own is it's going to start where you've entered something and where it ends. So as soon as there's basically empty cells around it, that ends the range it's going to give us. And then here it tells me it's a picture, so I can click on picture 2. So that's the first sheet. Now let's look at table of contents. So if I come over here to table of contents, you'll notice it doesn't tell me it's a hyperlink, but it does tell me, hey, here's your range. It goes down from B2 to B27, and then it captures C because there's something in C1. So B1 to C27, right? So you can see it highlighted that range. So there's the table of contents. Let's go to the next page. Let's go to general assumptions. And you're going to see it's highlighted everything throughout. So let's go through and see what these are. If I click on general assumptions E3 to H4, gives me the headers. Then if I come down here and click on A6, it shows, oh, hey, there's that header. See, there's white space around it, so it's its own. Again with B8. But then now you see it does a whole range, E9 to G11, saying, hey, there's an entire block there. Next, it will tell me each named range I've created. So you see start date there for a named range. If I go to Formulas, Name Manager, you can see end and start date are names. And so you'll see those. Then you'll see the general assumptions. Then you see the names again. Full-time benefits, part-time benefits, general assumptions. So if I was to come up here and type FT, it's going to take me right to full-time benefits. So I can look up any named range or table. So let's go to one that has a table. Vendor expenses has a table called vendor spend. So if I come here to vendor expenses, I click on vendor spend, you can see the table, right? There's the next range. And I can click on each of these different ranges within the workbook. And so that's, really handy feature to have. So there you can see the table. Let's go ahead and close vendor expenses. And let's look at a few more things that I want to show you. So let's come down here and look at graphs and see what a graph page looks like. So I clicked on it. It took me to my graphs. And you can see there's the charts. Chart 1, it just names it whatever first chart was inserted as chart 1. And then it gives the title of that chart. So profit margins. Compensation excluding commissions, expense as a percentage of revenue. So you can really easily see that, right? If I type up here, let's see what happens if I type chart 3, right? What it's going to do is it's going to bring up every chart 3 in the different workbooks. But if I know the specific name of the chart, I could say chart 3, LTV. So it doesn't recognize that, but let's say if I type LTV. So it only recognizes the chart name, as you'll see there. Let's try one more and just make sure. So if I type in profit margins, you'll see it doesn't get it. So if you want to see charts, best way to do it is type chart, and then you can pick the one you want. All right, so let's go to a couple more pages here. We're going to click over to key metrics. It automatically open. We're going to come look at it. Again, we can see everything that's there. You know, I was wondering, why is there something in C39? It, looks like it shouldn't be there. So I could probably come in and find that and delete that, because as you can see, C39 right now is covered by a chart. So that's also helpful to just find things that maybe, hey, why is that there? That doesn't make sense. So again, you can see this. Let's say if I insert a shape, let's see what happens. So if I come here, we're going to insert this shape. All right, so let's save it and see if it will show us that name. So I'm on the key metrics graph, and there you can see it right there. I now have that shape. So if I delete that and I save it, and then I close this and reopen it, it should go away. Sometimes it takes it a minute. There we go. Now it's gone. So you can see it takes a minute to refresh. But again, this is a great tool, will be extremely helpful to navigate your workbook. That being said, I still recommend you have a table of contents, because you can put the description of what each worksheet is for. This does not give you a description. It just allows you to find the different objects and to navigate throughout your workbook. So leave your thoughts below in the comments. What did you think of this video? Do you find it helpful?